The plume and the pistol. A fitting end to my folly, and a curse upon us all.
Hello, everyone. Science Viking here, and it's time to return to Darkest Dungeon. We're not completely broke, but we're kind of broke adjacent, so we're gonna need to go on another mission to get some cash. And let's see what options they have. Let's see what fresh hell they have available for me. Let's see. So I'm not against doing an intermediate difficulty mission, depending on what the rewards are. Let's see, I could get the sacrificial cauldron for an occultist. That would be good. Commander's orders for the Crusader, which are not very good. A worry stone or a dazzling charm, but none of these is really that good. So let's sort my heroes by level and look at this from the perspective of who can we reasonably send. Okay, we're doing a novice mission. That much is clear. So question is, which one? Okay, the solar bracer is actually probably the best piece of equipment we're going to get. So who do we send? Let's send a Hellion. Adrenaline Rush is actually pretty good for dealing with blight is the word that I'm looking for. That's good for dealing with blight. And let's actually bring the flagellant again. Okay, do I have... Okay, and I have an occultist who can be my main healer, so now I just need someone in the midline. I need a good person for position 2. And you know what? We're broke anyway, let's bring an antiquarian. Maybe not the strongest team, but it's a novice mission, so it doesn't really matter that much. Sort by class. Get the healing head. And the snake oil to balance that out a little bit. The Antiquarian does have festering vapors, but this boosts healing skills. I'm actually just gonna have the Antiquarian learn fortifying vapors before we go on that mission. Oh, she already does know it. For some reason I thought she didn't, but I'm also gonna upgrade it a couple of times along with Nervous Stab. Can't afford to spend any more gold, but I can afford to spend that much. And now it would actually be beneficial to equip the Master's Essence. And I'll give her a Worry Stone. Now, for the I keep wanting to call the Flagellant a Hellion for some reason. For the Flagellant, I have Eternity's Collar. And I also have Resurrection's Collar, which reduces his bleed skill chance but improves his healing abilities. Let's see. And his bleed skill his base bleed skill chance is already fairly low. So instead, I think I'll give him the Health Stone. Actually, no, I think I'll give him the Warrior's Cap. Learn for more of an offense-oriented Flagellant. And the Hellion, of course, gets the Lioness War Paint, and other than that, I'll give her the other Warrior's Cap. Though I suppose the other option will be Dismas's Head. Actually, yeah, I'll give her Dismas's Head, drive her damage even higher than it already is. And we may encounter the thing from the stars. Except I don't want to go to this one, I want to go for this one and get the Solar Bracer and the 5 Deeds. Partially because I want to clear a path to the next Warren's boss. So, let us begin. Gotta bring food. Another skeleton key or two. No reason to bring the blood, and now that I have the Sanguine Vintners, the blood is not really a concern anymore. We will have ample blood from here on out. Okay, definitely want medicinal herbs, but not necessarily that many. Definitely want bandages and anti-venom. and a little holy water, and I'd say we're ready. And we even have an antiquarian to get some extra cash.
To prosecute our war against the swine, we must first scout their squalid homes.
Okay, this is a somewhat odd layout, but I think I can turn it to my advantage. Start by going this way. And the larger map is generally advantageous when you have an antiquarian. You know, good way of getting some extra cash. Of course, that requires us to actually encounter things. And we've now had 2 rooms and 2 hallways of nothing. Okay, of this team, who's the best at disarming traps? So 40%, 10%, 30%, and 30%. So the Hellion is actually the one who's best at disarming traps. Okay, it's either medicinal herbs or anti-venom. It's not anti-venom, so it's medicinal herbs. Yep. And that gets you a buff of... Oh, that gives you a damage buff to the Hellion, whose damage is already buffed. You know, I almost feel sorry for whatever she's going to end up attacking at this point. And yeah, it's going to be a bit of a big circle before we actually get to the first room battle. But heirlooms.
Packs laden with loot
Heirlooms and
are
antique.
often low on supplies.
Already got hunger. That's less than ideal. But, you know, I deal with it.
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
It does surprise me a little bit that the Hellion has a higher base trap disarm chance than the Antiquarian. I would kind of expect that to be the other way around. Anyway, it's time for some violence. Oh, he can't use exsanguinate. Oh, no, he can, it's just his health is too... He's not because of positioning, it's that his health is too low. Too high. High is different from low. Apparently I can't remember what words mean today. So this is like that time I forgot what number comes after 10. Alright, and I forgot to switch... I also forgot to switch out Barbaric Yawp in favor of Iron Swan, so I'm just gonna go with Wicked Hack.
Annihilated.
And Demon's Pull. I don't feel like dealing with Stressful Incantation, or corpses right now. Okay, Nervous Stab, no surprise that it didn't do anything, because it's Nervous Stab, it doesn't do very much. Alright, and Wicked Hack, and no more Stressful Incantations. Okay. Stab. Let's go with Weakening Curse because the chopper does actually have protection. And let's follow that up with our old friend Punish. That bleeds for a lot. Punish does a lot of damage. And the wretch is trying to punish me for using Punish. As well, actually, get a weird reconstruction. One more Punish, and that's the end of the chopper. And if it bleeds, that's the end of the wretch. Okay, there we go. Back to our default party order.
Creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Trade Barbaric Yawp for Iron Swan. And let's see. Yeah, the Antiquarian can actually do all of her stuff from position 4, so I'm actually going to I'm going to move the Occultist back to position 3 and give him a Sacrificial Stab. Okay. And apparently, I'm not putting a torch on the altar, and apparently Holy Water does nothing for the altar. You know, this is actually probably a good time to try to get an invitation. Though this means risking getting the Crimson Curse, but with all the damage buffs that we all have... Okay, let's start with Weakening Curse on this supplement. Reduce its protection, because I have a plan. For this supplicant, Wicked Hack.
Decimated.
That's why I reduced its protection. For this one, their bleed resistance is a cool 15%, so I can just go with Punish. And they'll still resist bleed, because Punish has a very weak bleed chance. Well, Nervous Stab. And now I just need to hit the supplicant once with anything. And we probably still have the Crimson Curse now, don't we? Okay, no, we managed to avoid the Crimson Curse, and the supplicant is gone. Now I just need to deal with the gate.
The offensive.
Sacrificial Stab will not kill. And neither will Nervous Stab. But if it bleeds,
Destroyed.
and if it bleeds, could have one-shotted if I had gone with it first.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
Only one of the crests and the citrine for the invitation. Also, I should actually equip. Fortifying Vapors since I went to the trouble of upgrading it and bringing a trinket that enhances it. Maybe I should actually use the ability that I went to so much trouble to improve. That would make it. You know, that would make entirely too much sense to be my strategy. And then we have. Oh, God damn it. I had medicinal herbs, but you had to go and get ahead of yourself. Oh, great, and we're surprised. Start with if it bleeds, because it could one-shot.
Surges as the enemy crumbles.
Sacrificial Stab will not one-shot, but moving the Occultist back will move the Antiquarian forward. But the Flagellant can move forward 4 spaces in one action. The Antiquarian moves back now, so the Hellion will move. Okay, Punish will take care of that Carrion Eater, which means we only have the one left to deal with. Sacrificial Stab may kill, or it may miss. If it bleeds, should kill, though. Just need you to inflict... Or it leaves him with exactly 1 hit point, because the game just feels like messing with me today. Who am I kidding? Darkest Dungeon always feels like
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Alright, I'm not even going to worry about the Blight at this point because it's for so little damage. I am, however, going to worry about the bandits. And I guess surprise cuts both ways. Okay, Iron Swan is guaranteed to one-shot if it hits.
Continue the onslaught.
Okay, that's him done.
Destroy them all.
Okay, Nervous Stab. Won't do much, but it will do a little. Punish can't reach him, so Punish can only work on the Bloodletter. Well, as usual, going for weird as usual, despite the fact that I rarely do this, going for weird reconstruction. The Hellion will be able to finish off the Cutthroat, and frankly, I don't like the Bloodletter's odds against the Flagellant. Okay, if it bleeds, it does bleed. Now the Hellion's damage is buffed even further thanks to the War Paint.
The blood pumps. The limbs obey.
And Punish. For another critical. Fortifying Vapors.
Vigor is restored.
Yeah, the Master's Essence is actually pretty good. I mean, it didn't restore a lot, but getting an Antiquarian to heal someone for 6 is actually pretty impressive. Weird reconstruction against the Hellion. Unfortunately, the Hellion just has the worst luck. Fortunately, she makes her own luck.
Falls.
Actually, can't go back to default party order because I've deliberately changed the party order permanently. And the Antiquarian is in serious need of a bandage. And I dropped the holy water and then encountered an eldritch altar where it would have been helpful to have holy water. Well, that's just kind of how things go.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles. Paid for in blood.
Yeah, fortunately, it's mostly the enemy's blood, so I'm okay with paying for things with the enemy's blood. Speaking of which, if it bleeds. Sacrificial stab will not one-shot, but it would when it will finish him off when combined with nervous stab. And all I have to deal with is the brawler, and punish probably won't one-shot unless it gets tripped. I should have spared the bone conscript and used him to, and then just healed while he was trying to attack us ineffectively. Wicked hack. Fortunately, with all of the buffs that with all of the damage buffs,
but a victory nonetheless.
All the damage buffs the Hellion has, there's really nothing that she cannot kill. There are very few things she cannot one-shot. Okay, weird reconstruction. I will reduce the Hellion's damage a little bit. Punish, again, not going to one-shot. I really need to upgrade the Flagellant. The reason why he's performing so poorly is pretty much just a lack of upgrades. And if it bleeds. It bleeds. They're really focusing on the occultist. I guess they figure taking out the medic will increase their chances of winning. Honestly, they're kind of right.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
Weird reconstruction on yourself. Okay, nervous stab didn't kill, but whatever the name of the flagellant's attack ability will kill, as will if it bleeds, or it won't. Apparently there are things this Hellion can't kill, or at least things this Hellion can't one-shot. Punish again. But in a strange turn of events, this time the Flagellant managed to one-shot something. I really do need to upgrade him, though. I'm liking the Flagellant a lot as I get used to how to use him effectively, but I really need to upgrade this one.
For death by inches.
Alright, and Adrenaline Rush, some healing, and some stress reduction. Fortifying Vapors. Going all in on healing while we wait for the wretch to bleed to death. Go with Endure on the Hellion. Doesn't really reduce the stress, it just moves it around.
Beyond one's limits.
Adrenaline Rush for healing. Really just hoping for a critical there. But there we go.
Gently. This is how a life is taken.
And an heirloom chest. With this I will weave many heirs. Actually, I dropped the extra anti-venom for the bust. Well, there's a lot of blight. It's consistently for low numbers. Oh, come on. I need to get rid of that quirk. I really need to get rid of that quirk. Honestly, we don't have any abilities to prevent nighttime ambush, and we're in such good shape, I may not even bother with using the log for this mission. You know, I could use it to reduce the stress levels, but that runs the risk of having a nighttime ambush, or alternatively, we can just leave. Everyone's stress is already pretty low, and stress naturally declines over time, even if you don't engage in a stress healing activity. Dropping bandages for the portrait. And this is probably our final room. And it's empty! Well, let's get back to the hamlet. What could be in these two rooms isn't going to be enough to be worth the amount of backtracking.
The twisting tunnels seem
unless
a
we get a hidden room, but I can't
impossible.
reasonably assume that that will happen. We racked up a decent amount of gold. Got an actually pretty respectable haul of heirlooms. And we even got ourselves another invitation. Which is good, because with the rate at which things are progressing in the courtyard, I'm going to need a lot of them. And 2 more people make it up to level 3, and we have 2 more diseases.
My obsession caused this great foulness, and it is shameful that I must rely upon you to set it right.
Alright. Let's see, who have disease? Okay, let's cure the worries first, because plus 30% stress is kind of bad. And let's also treat the stress of the one person who is still afflicted. What else? There's still some stuff I can't treat. Now, honestly, Tournament and Petramol probably actually need some stress treatment still, even though their stress has gone down. Okay. Now, I want to Okay, I can't upgrade the, Actually, first I want to look into upgrading the facilities, so... Okay, it'll be a fair while before I have enough heirlooms to upgrade Instructor Mastery. And it'll be a short while before I have enough to upgrade Weaponsmithing or Armor Smithing. I kind of want to upgrade both, though, so I think I'm going to hold on to my heirlooms for now until I can upgrade Weaponsmithing and Armor Smithing. Anyway, let's upgrade Punish. Upgrading... So, upgrading Reclaim increases the healing, but does not increase the damage that he does to himself. And upgrading Endure increases the stress heal and decreases the stress that he causes to himself. So upgrading these allows him to actually be able to heal his own damage and stress. Let's see. Not sure how to use Suffer effectively. So Rain of Sorrows hits the enemies in the back line and does fairly respectable bleed and also reduces the enemy's bleed resistance. And Redeem is actually pretty good too. And Sanguinate is okay, but it's very... well, it and Redeem both are very situational. What else do I want to upgrade? So upgrade our somewhat new Crusader. And how about our brand new Jester? What can he learn that could be helpful? Let's see, he has Inspiring Tune. Let's learn Battle Ballad and Slice Off. But again, that's probably all the gold I should spend. So let's find ourselves another mission. And that mission could be the Inchoate Flesh. Let's see, who can I send after the Flesh? Alright, so... my newly upgraded Flagellant. I have an Abomination. Unfortunately, the Hellion Valange just leveled up to the point where I can't send her. So I could send... And so did the, so did the Occultist I was using as a main healer, so this is going to be challenging. But I think I am going after the Flesh next, especially with the Hero's Ring as the reward. So, let's see, if I brought a Crusader, let's see, a Flagellant can't really comfortably be in position 3. a jester and a plague doctor. And he does not. I also do one other thing first, which is we're going to swing by the survivalist. And the Crusader is going to learn Zealous Vigil. I think I can actually make it work with this team composition. Unequip all trinkets, sort by character class restriction. And let's see, the Rock Gut Sensor wouldn't be that good. It'd be better to go with the increased accuracy of ranged skills. And Blightstone. Okay, for the Jester, once again, we don't have any Jester-specific equipment. Also, him being a Warren's foe but having a weak grip on life are both kind of a problem. Okay, you can use Harvest and Slice Off in position 3, but I'm going to trade Dirk Stab for Battle Ballad. And that was not the menu that I meant to close. Let's see. Honestly, I'll just give him the Worry Stone and the Warrior's Cap. Okay, the Flagellant is actually... I don't know about Resurrection's Collar, because the issue is it reduces his bleed skill chance, and bleeding is the main way that we damage the flesh. So, instead I'll just give him Eternity's Collar, and I'll give him Junia's Head, because that does not increase... One, he gets a damage boost if his stress level is high, and two, this does not reduce the effectiveness of his bleeding abilities. And the Crusader gets the Swordsman's Crest, and the Solar Bracer. Okay, now for abilities. So we got Punish, and Reign of Sorrows, and then Endure. Let's try to Endure for Exsanguinate. Alright, I think I can make this work. It's insane, but I think I can make it work. Nobody has the Crimson Curse, so again, no need to bring any of the blood. We do need to bring bandages, a little bit of medicinal herbs, some torches, anti-venom, the bandages that I mentioned and then brought food instead. I didn't bring shovels last time. That's what I was forgetting, but we do need shovels. And a key or two. Okay, I'm taking a bit of a risk with this plan, but I think I can make it work. Let's find out why I'm wrong.
My zeal for blood rituals and summoning rites had begun to ebb, as each attempt invariably brought only failure and disappointment. Progress was halting, and the rapidly accumulating surplus of wasted flesh had become burdensome. The thing is more terrible than I can describe. An incoherent jumble of organ, sinew, and bone.
This is new. I think I may have had this happen before, but this is just kind of a funny map layout. It's just a perfect grid, with every room having a hallway to all of its adjacent rooms. This is going to be interesting. Well, I'm betting that the flesh is here. I'm actually going to start... The one thing I don't have is a good way of targeting position 4, I don't think. So let's start with Slice Off. Oh, right, Plague Grenade. I knew there was a reason I brought a Plague Doctor. And Reign of Sorrows. I can just actually make life really miserable for these guys in the back. In fact, they're both already a mixture of bleeding and blighted for all of their HP. I meant to use Stunning Blow, instead I used Smite, because I apparently can't navigate a menu to save my life. Okay, point blank shot, that's less than good. That's not a big deal. And Punish. Oh, Incision requires him to be in position 3. Well, let's go with Battlefield Medicine then. Okay, Smite will not kill, so let's go for Stunning Blow instead. 50% chance to stun, and we get it. And I can reach you with Slice Off, and this might do it. Nope. Yes, actually, yes. He is bleeding for more health than he has. So he has 1 turn of being stunned, and then 1 turn of immediately bleeding to death. I actually really should have had the Jester use Inspiring Tune on himself rather than on the Flagellant. Go for some Battlefield Medicine. So, I don't really have any one guy who's good at healing a lot, but I have several guys who are good at healing a little. Let's see if I can make this work. However, I forgot to trade Incision for... no, he has Noxious Blast, so... let's go with Disorienting Blast. But yeah, this team is just all about inflicting absurd amounts of damage over time. This is basically damage over time and a Crusader. That's what this team composition is. Slice Off. Unfortunately, he resisted the bleeding. And I'll just have the Plague Doctor torment the enemy backline with Plague Grenade. Actually, combining Plague Grenade with Rain of Sorrows is downright terrifying. Okay, can Smite one-shot? Yes, it can. Unfortunately, it didn't. It doesn't guarantee that I end the enemy's entire backline in 1 round, but it does help. In this case, they each get to attack once before they die. And the Plague Doctor already has a disease. I'll have to find out what that does later. Punish should finish the... Punish has a chance of finishing the job, but it didn't.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its
Kind
own.
of overestimated Punish there a little bit. Okay, let's go for Noxious Blast on the Chopper. And that too manages to fail. Slice Off won't, though. Not with his 20% bleed resistance.
Death by inches.
And there goes the little drummer pig. Let's see how much Zealous Accusation manages to do.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Okay, Noxious Blast might finish the job. There we go. No reason not to just use... Oh, you can't use Reclaim on yourself. Wait, he can resist the bleeding from Reclaim? I didn't think he could do that. It didn't have a chance of bleeding listed, so I figured it was always guaranteed to cause bleeding on him.
The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
However, the Flagellant's self-inflicted bleeding is a lot less dangerous when we have a Plague Doctor with Battlefield Medicine. You know, the more I think about it, the more I think the Plague Doctor and the Flagellant are actually kind of natural allies. Because they have abilities that complement each other rather effectively. And I gotta admit, it's just really fun to be able to torment the enemy's backline with Rain of Sorrows and Plague Grenade. That will just, to me, being able to just basically erase the enemy's backline with damage over time in a single round will never stop being fun. Okay, that's less likely to work here because these guys have 80% blight resistance, and they managed to dodge Rain of Sorrows. 120, so 40% chance to blight versus Noxious Blasts. 30% more than 40% is 70% chance to blight. Unfortunately, that also failed. Okay, these guys have very low bleed resistance. And yet, it's apparently enough. Okay, just smite the evil. Just smite them out of here. Put them out of my misery. Oh, shit. I should have... In hindsight, I should probably get in the habit of bringing a vial of the blood in case someone gets the Crimson Curse mid-mission. But I generally don't think about that. stick with Noxious
A
Blast on the
decisive
supplicant.
pummeling.
Especially since I believe one of the... No, it does not reduce the target. All it does is reduce the target's accuracy. And all of the damage has been undone. All it takes is a few DLC enemies and everything starts going wrong. Okay, let's just go with Harvest for now. Damage over time can at least help reduce the effect of their healing. Punish. Okay, there. We're rid of the supplicant at least. Okay, okay. The sycophant is evil. Smite it. Thank you for smiting the evil. Okay, Noxious Blast again, because reducing its accuracy is actually pretty helpful. And we finally managed to blight. Let's follow that up with some bleed.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
We'll go for Reclaim. And he resisted the bleeding again. Inspiring Cry. Critical Inspiring Cry. It healed
As
2 stress and restored 2 hit.
A faint hope blossoms.
Okay, so we actually found a vial of the blood
light,
in the
the
same
promise of
battle where
safety.
we, Sacrificial Stone. I don't think there's anything we can do with that. Okay, still haven't located the boss. I'm 99% sure it's in this room, and if not, it's got to be in one of these 3. So... Okay, drop the holy water for the rubies. The rest can stay. And this is another way to get an invitation. I'm not doing it now, but I'm going to remember that this is here. Depending on the condition we're in after the flesh, I may come back for it. But I want to focus on being ready for the flesh. Okay, Harvest does 2 for 3, plus 3 to 5, so I need a little luck for one shot. Okay, Zealous Accusation.
Another one falls.
And that just straight up eliminates 2 of them all by itself. And that leaves me with both Noxious Blast and Punish to finish the job. And I only need one of those things.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Wish granted. They've all been destroyed. Okay, dropping the citrine to the Dodge Stone. Okay, without scouting, I'm not going to risk entering this room because it could be the boss room. Instead, now is the time to make camp. Feast.
Gathered close in tenuous firelight and uneasy companionship.
Zealous Vigil. And then... just go with every rose has its thorn. And then Zealous Speech to give a further reduction to our stress intake. And we should be good. Full health, 0 stress, and no, and some extra stress.
We require only the strength to follow it.
Okay, I'll grab the emerald and let everything else stay where it is.
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
And, yep, I was right. This is where we fight the flesh.
Squirming, contorting, and ever-expanding. This
Sanguine
horror
Stroke, which
must
will
be
do nothing
unmade.
this turn. It's already at full health. Okay. Bleed resistance 40% versus bleed resistance 0. So, Harvest deals 2 points for 3 rounds, and Slice Off deals 3 points for 3 rounds. So, Harvest will do more damage if it inflicts bleeding on both. Which, with 100% base, I'm going to 60% chance that Harvest does more damage, 40% chance that it does less damage. It did more damage. Okay, Reign of Sorrows is 110% base. And Reign of Sorrows bleeds for slightly less, but once again, I'm going for Reign of Sorrows instead of Punish.
A singular strike.
And that critical is going to help, too. Okay, Anti-Venom, and their Blight resistance is also not very good, so I'm going for Plague Grenade based on the same logic that if I can blight more targets, it inflicts more damage. But for the Crusader, who cannot inflict damage over time, let's go for the body part that has 0 protection. Okay, now we have to deal with the Jaws of Life over here. But this thing is bleeding for a lot. Okay, it shifted it. Actually, I was gonna say this is a good composition for it, but it's actually also a very good composition for me.
The blood quickens.
Okay, the Flagellant dodged the hit that would have put him on death's door, which means because of the damage over time, when it becomes the Flagellant's turn, he will immediately be on death's door. I could fix this using battlefield medicine, but I'm not going to because he's even more powerful when he's on death's door. In the meantime, let's keep adding blight damage. Smite will do almost nothing. I'm gonna go with Zealous Accusation. That will may do more total damage. And this time, actually, I still want to go for Harvest because the majority of the damage is in the form of damage over time. Unfortunately, this time it didn't pay off. And unfortunately, this time it's gone into a much more durable
Teetering on the
format.
brink, facing the abyss.
Okay, bandage. And Rain of Sorrow. Now let's go for Inspiring Cry to get him back off of Death's Door. Okay, how much damage over time is the flesh taking in total? So 10 damage of bleeding and blight on this one, so that's 20. Up to 30 for the blight on this one. 36. It's taking 38 points of damage over time. It would only take a little bit more for it to be bleeding for more than its maximum health. Well, it's a mixture of bleeding and blight, but I think we're there. And it can't heal itself. It went for... That's the downside of this configuration. It may be more resistant to damage, but it can't heal itself. Let's stick with Harvest. Of course, the downside for me is that it has a lot of protection. And this is the format that has the most resistance to damage over time, I think. Or at least has a lot of resistance to damage over time. But there we go!
A small consolation, given the implications of its terrible existence.
There we go.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
Okay, let's drop the medicinal herbs, actually, with the extra gold. And I'm going to continue adventuring. Okay, let's use food to get the Flagellant back off of Death's Door, so I can deal with the rest of the healing normally. But I have a couple more invitations that I could collect on, and I think I'm going to do that. I'm actually going to stick with Plague Grenade and miss. I actually should have used Battlefield Medicine, honestly. Okay, Smite could one-shot, and it does. Okay, Slice Off would need a critical to one-shot, but I can at least start wearing this guy down. Okay, the Flagellant is in some danger all of a sudden. And unfortunately, elevated death blow resistance or not, that managed to kill him. That's a shame. We can still win this fight at least, though, but I wish we had lost the Flagellant. Okay, now I have really no reason to do anything other than Plague Grenade. Okay, slice off to finish the job.
Masterfully executed.
Of course, I had no reason to do Plague Grenade either, really. Actually, in hindsight, I should have gone with Noxious Blast on this guy. Okay, Smite. Yeah, Noxious Blast would have made a big difference. Oh, let's do that this time. And there we go. And Slice Off, doesn't matter, have to target the corpse. And Smite will finish the job anyway. Okay.
Success so clearly
Have to drop some supply items to pick up
Or is
the
it merely
flagellant's
a
old
trick
gear and
of
the
the
invitation. That's a shame. We almost did this with no fatalities. We beat the boss with no fatalities, and then I managed to lose the flagellant to just a regular enemy. Well, I mean, it's a DLC enemy, but still. I should have known better than to let his health stay that low. I should have used battlefield medicine. That really was the issue. Either way, got a respectable amount of gold, a pretty good amount of heirlooms, and yet another invitation to give us another opportunity to feed our heroes into the meat grinder known as the Courtyard. Right. Unfortunately, another person has the Crimson Curse, but since we got the Sanguine Vintners, that's a lot less of a problem.
Struggle or penance for my unspeakable transgressions.
Okay, so a couple of things just happened all at once here. So, I have a hero for hire, which means that I can, in exchange for more crystal shards than I have, I could get a Legend Hellion right out of the gate. Honestly, that wouldn't be worth it anyway, because I would only have one Legend class hero, which means I wouldn't be able to send that person on missions unless I sent them alone. So, there's really not much reason to do that right now. However, I've also discovered unique quirks. Some quirks are unique, meaning only one hero per roster can have them at a time. Unique quirks are shown by a special symbol to the left of the quirk name. If you don't want that hero to have the unique quirk, you can remove it in the sanitarium like other quirks. This can be useful if you're trying to get that quirk to develop on a more suitable hero. Interesting. So in this case, the quirk is Twilight Dreamer. Ignore Stealth. That could be very helpful. Unfortunately, I can't accept this hero because I don't have the 20 crystal shards that she's asking for, so I have to give that up. Anyway, I do have a sad, depressing, empty spot on the roster. Let's see who I can find to replace the flagellant that we lost. I don't think we have a grave robber right now, so I'll go for a grave robber.
To those with a keen eye, gold gleams like a dagger's point.
Okay, I can't do the next level of Instructor Mastery. Let's see about the next level of Weapon or Armor Smithing. Let's see. Go with Weapon Smithing. I need deeds. Alright, trading portraits for deeds. Okay, so let's go with weaponsmithing. And that's pretty much all I'm likely to be able to upgrade. Except, yeah, I can't even upgrade the Survivalist, or probably the Nomad Wagon now. Oh, I could still upgrade the Nomad Wagon. In fact, I can get 2 upgrades for it.
Rarities and curios.
Get some of the easy upgrades.
Sold at a profit, of course.
And, well, the next thing I should upgrade probably is the Stagecoach network. Actually, I have the ability to get experienced recruits. I should probably go for the next 2 upgrades I get should be Stagecoach network and experienced recruits, but I'm not going to be able to do that for a little while. In the meantime, let's upgrade some things. And I just now have gained the opportunity to upgrade the Arbalest's crossbow. That, I think, is what I want. And let's upgrade Dismas's guns while I'm at it. And, once again, that's all I can really afford to spend. Before I go on another mission, though, I am going to get a lovely, fresh recording file. I will be back in a moment.
Trouble yourself not with the cost of this crusade. Its noble end affords you broad tolerance in your choice of means.
Okay, I am back, and it's time to embark on another mission. I believe the I could treat one person's disease, so let's treat Petramol's, the ague. And that's all I can do for disease treatment. Let's go on another mission, and yes, I want to go back to the Courtyard. The question is who to bring. I'm going to bring Gale, and then Bolbeck, bring Dismas. And... Arundel. Well, let's bring a Vestal as our fourth person. Okay, as usual, unequip all trinkets, sort by character class, and the Arablest definitely gets the bedtime story. And let's add to that the Vengeful Greaves. Let's see. The Vestal gets Junia's head, and... let's see, I could go for the Hero's Ring for increased virtue chance, but... I'll go for the Worry Stone. Minus 10% stress and plus 10% virtue chance. Okay, go for the Highwayman. Let's go with the Stalwart Buckle. And I'll actually combine that with Dismas's head. So Dismas is carrying Dismas's head. And for Slave Knight Gale over here, we have the Redemption Armlet and the Warrior's Cap. That should do. And once more onto the Courtyard. Definitely need to bring plenty of blood. Fortunately, we have a lot of blood. Getting a decent amount of food, a couple of shovels, a couple of torches, but not a lot, a little holy water, a little herbs, a little array of keys, and plenty of bandages and plenty of anti-venom. Okay. I'm fairly certain I haven't forgotten anything. This should do the job. Let's see how far we can make it this time. The malignant merrymaking. Hopefully we can get rid of the merrymaking before it metastasizes, though. That's the real problem. Okay, where am I? Okay, so let's try to get to this room for now. And yeah, we begin with backtracking. I also begin with Dismas already wasting away thanks to the Crimson Curse. Well, I brought 4 vials of the blood, so I can at least get him up to passive. Part of the reason why I brought the blood is in case I need it to induce bloodlust, because I might need that in order to bring death to my enemies, which is the real purpose of these heroes. So... let's go this way. And we're off the map again, so anything could be in this hallway. No, I haven't tried a shovel. Let's see what this does. Oh! So hitting it with a shovel causes us to get treasure.
The flow of otherworldly corruption.
Oh, and now the Vestal is also wasting. Well, let's fix that. Okay, I've gotten 2 people up to passive, and I've already used up half of the blood that we brought, and all of the blood that we generated this week. Ah, Chevalier. And even worse, he's already protected by Infallible Servitude. Okay, they're both going for Infallible Servitude. Wonderful. Midnight Minuet. Oh, so it buffs their damage, but reduces their accuracy and shuffles all of them. Okay, I'll just start with... oh, right, they're also still defendered. Bolus should be enough to finish off the manservant. Well, sort of. And if I use Chop, it will just hit this manservant again, but if I use Hew, it will hit both. It'll hit the other manservant too. Or it will hit nothing. That is always a possibility when it comes to a leper doing something. No damage is always an option. Okay, Raging Slight. Fortunately, the move appears to have failed.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
Okay. Sniper's Mark on the Chevalier. Okay, oh, wonderful.
The abyss returns even the boldest gaze.
Okay, I'm gonna go for Hugh this time. Again. Because this time it did some pretty good damage, and pistol shot only does 8 to 15 without a critical, but it has a chance of one-shotting if it does get a critical. But it managed to get a critical and still not one-shot. Fortunately, okay, how much would Judgment do? 2 to 4, so I have a small chance of this finishing him off. And it does.
The onslaught.
Okay, that's good. I don't need to deal with Subterranean Skewer or Buried Blast this time. And the Thirst on someone who already has the Crimson Curse, that's less of a problem. Okay, Grape Shot Blast to do nothing. I was hoping it would remove the Courtesan, but instead it did nothing. But the Arbalest comes in clutch and takes out the Courtesan, leaving us with just the Manservant. Alright, let's go for some healing while the battle still exists to justify healing ourselves. I've never heard that narration before. The flesh is knit. I wonder if that was added in the DLC, because that's a completely... Oh! That's a completely new one. And Gale is impatient with enemies dodging his attacks and decides to just destroy everything.
Momentum. Push on to the task's end.
Wait, and that buff gave him increased accuracy, too. Admittedly, for only one round. And the container yields a key.
Trinkets and baubles. Paid for in blood.
And here's the locked room. Okay, so I was closer than I thought I was. Though, honestly, when we regrouped last time, we would not have been able to beat the fight that we just beat if we had gone back. If we hadn't gone back and regrouped. But we're pretty close to the locked door, and I'm fairly certain this time the key will actually matter. Okay, and now a third person is wasting. Well, I brought plenty of blood, so I have blood for you all. But we've officially used up 3 vials out of the 2 that were produced by the Sanguine Vintners. So even having that... Oh, and I know what to do with this, with the blood flowers now.
Wealth beyond measure. Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
I'm gonna eat the extra 2 food so I can trade that for 3 busts. But even having the Sanguine Vintners, it still is going to be difficult to manage the Crimson Curse if too many people get it. The main goal is just to avoid letting it accumulate on too many heroes. We made it past the second locked room. The question is, how many of them are there that we have to get past? Oh, this is you again. Well, let's interact with the Hooded Shrew. And it just didn't notice me. Yeah, that could have been worse. A locked gate. But this is... I have the wrong key for this gate. That's odd. The way unlocks when you consider your weaknesses, not strengths. Huh. I'm gonna try going north and see where that takes me. Key of Reflection. Ooh. That almost seems like, now that I look at it, that almost seems like a boss key. Like, you have to collect a series of keys in order to be able to, And now the Vestal is craving. Like, you need to collect a series of boss keys in order to be able to, actually enter the room with the Baron. Well, I suppose I'll find out as we continue exploring. And a third Blood Flowers. And we already have 24 crests, 3 deeds, and 3 busts, which means, frankly, we'll need to go antiquing after this, but frankly, this mission was worth it even if we get nothing else. Alright. Open vein on this one. Doesn't quite finish the job. It's close. Okay, when they use the Thirst on someone who already has the Crimson Curse, I feel a little better. Sniper shot combined with pistol shot will take out this Courtesan. Probably. And then Chop has a decent chance of one-shotting this Courtesan if it manages to hit. And buffing everyone's accuracy for a little bit will help with that. Only a little bit, but it will help.
Obliterated.
Okay, that's one courtesan down. Oh, and the courtesan is apparently genre savvy and decides to get some cover. Well, genre savvy is the wrong term for that, but she guessed what I was trying to do. Okay. Let's just judgment this supplicant
Their
to get rid of it.
formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
And while this supplicant may be protecting the courtesan, he's also not going to live for much longer. Especially since I can hit him with pistol shot. Still only did 7 though. And sniper shot. And it's still... that is a determined supplicant! Oh, right, because Damsel in Distress actually gives him a protection buff. Alright, let's just go for some healing for you. Because Gale is about to get his turn. And he's about to use Hugh, which has a decent chance of killing both of them. Like so.
Give them no quarter.
Yeah, Gale is basically here just looking for some payback. Okay, I'm gonna give the blood to the person who's craving so that I have room for more of the crests, and I'll drop the Virtuous Chalice. I think I already have one of those. Okay, I can't get past the obstacle because I foolishly used up all of my shovels on the blood flower, so unless we find another shovel, I'm going to have to go a different route. Okay, but let's get rid of the throbbing cocoons and get some stress reduction. Ah, a normal enemy group! That's new. Okay, Sniper's Mark reduces the target's dodge. Okay, let's concentrate on the large corpse eater. So let's mark it. And unfortunately, the guy who could have exploited the mark passed his turn. Wonderful.
Festering fear consumes the mind.
Okay, now it goes for weakened prey. Alright, chop.
Precision and power.
Of course, the dodge debuff is rather helpful, considering the fact that it makes it easier for the leper to hit things. Okay, let's dazzle the ghoul. Well, let's attempt to dazzle the ghoul. Okay, let's try pistol shot again.
Monstrous size.
That is why we
no
concentrate on the
intrinsic
corpse
merit,
eater, because now it's
unless
dead.
Inordinate exsanguination be considered
Sniper's mark
urgent.
again. And the ghoul is in exactly the wrong place to be size 2. Really, this is not a team composition you want to be size
Knowing
2 against.
uncertainty, the birthplace of dread.
Alright, stick with Dazzling Light. That critical is helpful. Now let's see what Gale can manage against. Unfortunately, 40% protection is kind of hard to get past, but that's what marking targets is for. I say as the mark exploitation ability does 7. Okay, that's better. And I'll let the Vestal get the kill. With a critical, no less.
Perhaps the turning point.
Going full battle Vestal at this point. Drop the
Remind
holy
yourself
water for
that
the ghoul.
overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
Okay, your punishment for not letting me light that up before going for the blood is that there isn't any blood in there. Yeah, we're going through our blood really fast, even with the, Is this a dead end? This is a dead end. Wonderful. In all probability, this way is the way that we actually have to go, and in fact, I'm certain enough of that that I'm actually going to risk plowing through it even though we don't have a shovel. It will mean that we have to really take some stress damage and some regular damage, but I'm willing to risk it. Great, and now that manages to inflict bleeding damage. Should have been more careful. And now we are already back to having a hero who's at the wasting state. Alright, use a torch to get past the shifting mists. Oh! That was the obstacle. It wasn't a shovel obstacle. And now I've found the blue gate that is opened by the blue key. So, when I said before that the way forward can't possibly be to the north, I was kinda right and I was kinda not. I would have just run into another gate that I don't have the key for unless I went south to get the key, but on the other hand, the way forward is actually to the north.
A hideous mutation.
And another one of these assholes.
Unnatural and abhorrent.
Well, fortunately, this is a team composition that's pretty good at punishing that. Okay, pistol shot. Light up a torch to give everybody some accuracy. And still only did 13. We're probably going to have some resolve checks during this fight. Alright, no reason to do anything other than Solemnity for Gale. Because he's still out of his reach for now, but it won't stay that way. Okay, Divine Comfort. Pistol shot again. Okay, hopefully yeah. Oh, darn it. And the Arablest got an auto turn. Alright. And it's still out of Gale's reach, so we'll have to keep using Solemnity. Yeah, the Arablest and the Highwaymen are gonna have to be able to rely on for a while. Yeah, the Crimson Curse has left this team rather dysfunctional. Fortunately, we are gradually damaging the Crocodilian. Alright, Sniper's Mark. Of course, that could be an issue considering how... Okay, Submerge. Where does... Submerge move it? Okay, Submerge didn't move it horizontally at all. All it did was healed it and increased its dodge by a lot. So Gale still can't reach it. This one is a lot more defense-oriented than they usually are. But here it comes with Apex Predator. And, Arundel, you said you need a healer? Be the change you wish to see in the world. Fortunately, I guess it heard me commenting on it being cowardly. It's finally in position 1, right where I want it. And now it went back into hiding. We bopped it on the nose and it ran away. Teeth break, and it missed too. I have a decent chance to hit it with Chop, and Chop will do a fair amount of connects. Still, this is not going to be a fight that ends quickly. And that's kind of a problem for me.
Sedated.
Stick with Open Vein, especially since stacking damage over time increases the probability, or will help us fight against its self-healing abilities. And the Vestal is bleeding and has her resolve tested, and she's irrational. Okay, a lot just...
Reeling, gasping, taken over the edge into madness.
A lot of bad just happened in one round. Okay, the good news is Gale is back in position 1. That's exactly where I want him. He gets extra damage when he's in position 1. And now Chop will do even more. Okay, another bandage. And... I will actually have the Vestal spend her turn moving. Alright, since it's not marked, against an unmarked target, Open Vein and Pistol Shot deal the same damage. They actually have exactly the same damage mod, except Open Vein has a worse critical mod. Still, the bleeding is more valuable than the base damage. I'm not gambling on criticals here. Of course, it keeps resisting the bleeding damage, and that kind of undermines my point a little bit. Alright, I'm going to stick with Battlefield Bandage on the Vestal for a little while, because there's not a lot of damage I can do to it while it's underwater. But it loses the evasion buff as soon as it emerges from the water, as is realistic. Which means Gale can, in theory, hit it. Okay, so Lurking Fear boosts damage and protection, but does not heal it or boost evasion. Whereas, this would be a time where Sniper's Mark, since its base dodge is actually fairly high. Now, uses Submerge, which does not move it horizontally at all. Okay, so... a leper attempting to use Chop against a submerged crocodilian. Well, in the 59% chance that it manages to hit, it will do pretty good damage. And Gale beats the odds. Well, technically he had a greater than 50% chance, so I suppose it technically isn't beating the odds. Okay, and this time we're going for pistol shot, and it missed. Ow!
Reeling.
Good thing Gale is durable. All right. Yeah, for now, since it's in position 1, Bolbeck is now the reserve healer. And the Vestal is sobbing uncontrollably, and now Dismas' resolve is tested. Like I said, there were going to be some resolve checks this fight.
Self-preservation is paramount, at any cost.
Chop will do slightly reduced damage, but it will do plenty. I'm going to stick with the healing for the Vestal, because she can't do enough damage to finish the thing off. Alright. And he passed his turn, which means I can't use bandages on him. Nice job, dipshit. But it retreated, which puts it within range of sniper shot. Unfortunately, the sniper shot apparently isn't accurate enough. You know, it's my fault. If I wanted to hit the enemy, I would have brought a sniper. Oh, right, I did. That's why the ability is called Sniper Shot. Still 16 hit points. Still not an amount of health the Vestal can overcome.
But never hidden.
Another bandage. And Chop. And there we go.
A faint hope blossoms.
Petals must fall.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
Signed conscription, Crusader only, plus 20% healing skills, plus 20% stress skills. I will forget them. Regret is sin. Well, I'm actually just going to use up the penultimate bandage and drop the last bandage for the conscription. And the container yields a key. The key of guilt. Yellow. Can pure regret make the way clear to proceed? I'll drop the medicinal herbs in exchange for the key of guilt. And now we have a bit of backtracking, but it's just straight to the locked room. And yeah, the Crimson Curse levels are getting a little frightening, but I think we'll survive. And everyone's health is at least okay, except for Gale. And I mean, he has 22 hit points. His health, percentage-wise, Gale's health is very low, but as an absolute number, the amount of health he has isn't that bad. He also... We found him in the Crimson, in this mission within the Courtyard, and he's the one person who can repeatedly go to Courtyard missions without getting the Crimson Curse. He must just... I don't know, maybe he's just immune to it or something, and that's... A trap...
Mind
that's
that such
new.
missteps are the exception.
That's new.
And not...
A trap spawned in behind us, and the trap is more enemies. And now I have 2 people who are wasting. Alright, let's go with Bolus. And let's go with Chop. Okay, still not a kill. And now it uses Gather the Blood, which could heal it. Alright, I'm still going for healing, even though that means the enemy gets to live for another turn.
Never hidden.
Because Bolus will manage to finish the job for me. I totally planned that. That's what I'm going. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
This expedition at least promises success.
Okay, I'm gonna give the blood to the guy who's been wasting for longer, and haven't used any anti-venom yet. So while I know we can need it, I'm still dropping it in exchange for the deeds. Even though we haven't succeeded at the overall mission yet, this has been an extremely profitable run with all the heirlooms we've got. Also, we haven't made a huge amount of cash. We've made enough cash that we can fund the next mission, which is the real important thing. now I finally have the proper key. Key of Guilt. I didn't realize the moment this turned into a room battle. I may have just made a terrible mistake. Okay. Open vein on this guy. Because now I just need to inflict 1 point of damage on him. Or I can just do that. Okay, that's the defender ability's gone. Alright. Let's see, how do I want to do this? Let's snipers mark one of the chevaliers. Then the 2 mark exploitation people can concentrate fire on him. Unfortunately, we're out of bandages because I dropped the last one to free up a stack. And chevaliers do a lot of damage, while also honestly being very tanky. And Gale's resolve is tested, and he's irrational. That's 3 out of 4 afflicted.
Mind. Fragile, like a robin's egg.
Just keep healing. And unfortunately, Gale's mind has been slammed against the wall really hard. It's only a fair share if I live to share. Yeah, well, passing your turn makes you less likely to live to collect your share. Sniper shot. Okay, 1 more sniper shot and he's done.
The ground quakes.
Okay. What are the odds that I can finish this thing off with judgment? Low, but I'll try it. And it worked! So I'll deal with another subterranean skewer, which means more bleed stacking, which is bad when we're out of bandages. And final resolve check. Irrational.
Madness.
2 selfish.
Sublimity of the
Or no, 1 selfish and 3 irrational.
So it has been said.
Alright. Sniper shot should kill, and it doesn't, because why should things happen as they should? Just because something should happen doesn't mean that it should happen. However, Grape Shot Blast will, and also do a little bit on the other Chevalier. And now it's Gale's turn. Okay, that's not going to be enough now. And that subterranean... Okay, thank you. I needed that one to miss. Alright. Oh, great. And the person who's bleeding for 12 and has only 7 hit points refuses to take her medicine. Okay, she can at least heal herself. That's a start. Pistol shot. Haha! And a critical from Dismas, just when we needed one. That was just what I needed.
Foolish horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud.
Okay, the last... Alright, this room is empty, so we can at least examine this curio. So if there's nothing else here. This looks like the kind of thing that we would use medicinal herbs for. Okay, the next time we encounter a battle or go into uncharted territory, we need to get out of here, because this team is pretty much... This team is falling apart. You know what? Greatly against my better judgment, I'm going to go 1 room farther. Well, he at least resisted the disease from that unplanned curio interaction. An Esquire. I haven't seen that. I've barely encountered any of them. Alright. Ooh, critical sniper shot for an opening move. Great, now step aside and let a professional handle it. He has 4 hit points left, and Grape Shot Blast does 5 to 9. I imagine you can hear the disappointment in my voice right now. Wonderful. We went from one of them definitely being dead to none of them being dead before this fight. Okay.
Injury and despondence set the stage for heroism.
Okay, and Golbeck is at death's door. Wait! Oh! The Thirst transferred the Blight from Bolbeck to the Esquire. That's actually kind of amusing. And I mean, it's to my advantage. Alright. Kill Bolus. Not that it'll do much. And Hugh, because I want at least the Squire to be gone. And Divine Comfort, because I want us all to live.
Sedated.
Unfortunately, Gale is now the one who's starting to get into some trouble. He resisted the Blight, though, which is good. Okay, just the 2 supplicants, that's all that's left. Just the 1 supplicant, that's all that's left. Just the 0 supplicants, that's all that's left.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Okay, it's officially time to get out of here. One more fight could realistically spell the end. So, we made some significant progress. We unlocked 2 doors, but I don't know how much of this is left. So for now, let's regroup in the hamlet.
You cannot learn a thing you think you know.
Also, the heroes will not actually suffer the stress of defeat because their stress level is already above 100, and if your stress is above 100 when you return to the hamlet, it just resets to 100. The good news is we managed to find enough loot to outfit our next mission, and an actually pretty good haul of, heirlooms. A really good haul of heirlooms. 42 crests. What am I talking about? Okay, Gale is... Also, Gale continues not to have the Crimson Curse. And Dismas is obsessed with the acquisition of knowledge. That could be a problem.
Their customs are curious, and their generosity is notoriously short-lived.
Okay, so we have a discount on trinkets, but unfortunately I don't really have any trinkets that are that impressive. And we can't really afford to spend gold anyway. Honestly, I can't even afford stress treatment. We're just gonna that's gonna have to wait. However, I am going to trade some deeds for some busts so that I can get the first level of experienced recruits. And while I'm at it, if I have enough deeds and crests, I'm going to upgrade the stagecoach now.
Word is traveling. Ambition is stirring in distant cities. We can use this.
Because the useful thing about the expanded stagecoach network is mainly that it just gives me more choices. Since the hero classes that we get are random, having more different options for who to accept is going to be pretty valuable when I need to put together a strong team. But anyway, we've defeated another boss. We've had another, I wouldn't call it ill-fated, it's kind of medium-fated expedition into the Courtyard. So, this is going to be the end for this episode. Thank you all for watching. I love you all, and I will see you next time.